Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're meeting in the garden. We are in the medicine garden today, or the herb garden, and I'm going to be moving a bunch of herbs around. I don't think I'm getting rid of any herbs this time, just consolidating and moving them into places that I think they'll thrive even better. And then we're going to plant our blueberries and finally get this area buttoned up with compost / mulch. So just getting it all ready for winter. I think it's going to be a really good day. I can't wait to just have it just even more clean. We were recently in here cleaning things up, but now it's just time to just get real detailed on it and make sure that it's really ready for winter, therefore ready for spring next year. I really am just going to be concentrating on the terrace. Spencer started, he removed some crocosmia in a couple of areas and weeded out the top tier. My main priority is this oregano. Has kind of gotten to be a really big patch, and I don't really use it that much. It's a dwarf oregano. It's really pretty, but we don't use it as a culinary oregano very often. So I'd like to consolidate the patch so it's kind of between this post and the stairs in that area and clear it out from that direction. The yarrow has self-seeded itself up onto the next tier, and I don't want it everywhere, so I'm going to remove that yarrow. We're going to leave, I might actually move this chive over just a bit, and then this is the garlic chive here. I have onion chive here, which is now right in the walkway. Now we extended the terrace. So I'm going to move this one back behind that post. So we'll just have them kind of mirroring each other. And then I have some echinacea in this terrace that didn't get enough sun to bloom. Just mostly because of the comfrey, I think. But there was also some plants in here that we removed last time we were in here, in this area, that were shading out the echinacea, as well as this artemisia. It gets really big, and it was shading out this echinacea. Anyway, we're going to take all the echinacea, and we're going to plant it up on that tier. I have some echinacea in the backyard that I'm going to transplant. Just trying to get everything kind of consolidated. I'm going to plant a blueberry on this end of the terrace and this end of the terrace. So we're going to remove this comfrey and pot it up so I could give it away. We have a small comfrey in here that I'm going to move, and this comfrey is going to stay. So we'll have a blueberry here and a blueberry here, which means these purple culinary sages that actually need to be propagated anyways. You can see how leggy they're getting. This is the time when I just take off their tops and re-root them. So we're gonna propagate those so that we could put them somewhere else in the garden and dig those out so they're no longer there. We'll leave the chocolate jugga to be a ground cover in that area. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the third blueberry is going to go up on that third tier. So not a whole lot. It's just a bunch of little details here and there. And we've still got a little bit of weeding to do. And then we will mulch with compost. This lower bed and this lower bed, as well as the succulent waterfall that I want to redo completely. We're not going to get to the waterfall today, but if we have enough time and energy, I would like to pull up all the succulents and put them in containers, save them to do a different project with them later, but get them out of the medicine garden. So that's the goal. The rest of this, like over here, the nasturtiums are still going pretty strong, and the Squash is still doing pretty good, as well as the Roman chamomile. So I'm actually going to kind of leave this bed. So if I don't get to the to the succulents, it's not that big of a deal. This bed probably won't get a whole lot of attention today. There's plenty of other things to do today. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go gather my tools, basically a spade, pruners, a bucket for weeds. Yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, a couple of pots to put the extra comfrey in. Because I'm going to be taking some cuttings today, I'm going to make sure that my pruners are good and sharp. So I just have a file here, and we just file them down so they're nice and sharp. You just want to make sure you start at the inside and you follow the blade all the way through with the same amount of pressure. So I decided to just use some of the clumps of oregano that I had in the other part of the bed to fill in any holes and gaps in the existing clump that I wanted to keep, and spread it around a little bit so it fills in that space. Then I transplanted the onion chives and also a few verbena starts that I found when I was cleaning out that bed. Then I went around and I picked or pulled out all of the echinacea around the garden and transplanted them up into this section of the tier. So now I'm gonna just take cuttings off the tops of all these. A little bit dirty, they're fine. Just this. So just going to give you an example here. So we have this it came off of this, which came off of the main root, right? So I don't need all this. This is a woody stem. It's not really alive anymore. These little babies will grow, so I could just, or even these little babies will grow. So I could put this stem in there, I could put this stem, I could put this stem. We could get really detailed like that if I was doing it in like a sand propagation thing. Like I was really gonna just try to propagate every little tiny one. I could do it that way. I can also take off some of the older leaves, just leave a few of the new leaves. I can go ahead and cut it down to like maybe here. And then I can go ahead and strip off these bottom baby leaves. And where those came off, the stem is now exposed. If I bury that, roots will come out of it. Same with this one. I can just remove the little tiny leaves, put this in soil, and roots will come out of there and the bottom, and this will grow. So that's basically what I'm doing. This is a semi-hard stem, and they tend to take a little bit better if you put them directly into the soil where you want to propagate them. I did this when I was working in landscaping a lot, where the plants would get really leggy, and I would just pop off a few and stick them in the middle and fill in the gaps so that they'd flush out and have a, you know, a nice coverage rather than completely removing all the plants and replacing them. The other way that you can do it is, this is a soft stem, and This would do better if I was putting it in just pure sand and dipping it in rooting hormone, putting it in the sand, and maybe even doing a little bit of a cover over it to create like a humidity dome. I'm just not gonna mess with that this year. I've done that many times. I could probably link a video below when I've done that before. I want to fill in a pretty big gap with the purple sage, and because it's going into fall, we have cooler weather, we'll have consistent rain. So long as I keep it moist on warmer days, I think we'll do just fine. We might lose a few, but that's not a big deal. And if spring comes and they just didn't take, I could just buy more. Purple sage is pretty easy to come by if you go to a nursery, especially in the spring. So I'm just gonna try it this way so I don't have to like do a bunch of transplanting and baby the, flat of propagated things. I'm just trying to avoid a little bit of that this year. I just kind of want things a little bit more simple. So I'm just gonna make a bunch of these and then I'll show you where I'm gonna put them in and exactly how I plant them. This is another really good example of ways that you can propagate these. This was growing funny and it got weighed down and was laying this way. So you can purposely bend your plant down so that it's laying horizontal and it starts pushing all this new growth. So I could take off these older leaves here and set this stem down in the soil this way. I might have to put a pin just to hold it because there's nothing getting buried, but that is definitely one way. And if I was keeping it in the same location, I could have just bent them down, pinned them, and this stem would still be attached to the mother plant with roots, which has an even better success. So if you just wanted to make your patch a little bit bigger, you can absolutely do that. If it's growing up like this, bend it down, pin it, and then all these leaf nodes will start growing roots into the soil. So I want to plant the sage in this section right here. So what I'm going to do, this is very sandy soil. This is our native soil. So I'm just gonna put a few lines in here, and then pop the stems along here. This is chamomile, this is verbena, and then we have yarrow and garlic chives. So all I'm gonna do, grab a handful of these. Is stick them in the soil like that, and just every couple inches we will just do that. Ugh. All right, before I get too much further along, I'm gonna go ahead and water all of these plants in that I've just transplanted, because as you can see, the sun is starting to get to the side of the bed, and I wanna make sure that they're good and watered in, so that, they have a better chance of survival. But I'm gonna show you what I planted, because after I water them, they'll probably all like lay down flat and look kind of wimpy for a day or two before they, you know, dry out a little bit and have a chance to adjust to their environment. So in the second tier down, we just removed oregano from over there, and some of those plants I transplanted and put in here to fill in this space. So the original plant, I think, was kind of in the middle. So there was like, I don't know, I think I transplanted maybe a half a dozen into that space. And so that needs to be watered in. I moved the garlic chives that were, no, onion chives that were here, and I moved them up there so they're in line with these onion chives, more or less. And then I had a clump of yarrow that had self-seeded from this patch up into the next tier. I just removed that and I planted echinacea. There was 2 echinacea from this lower tier, 1 from this upper tier, and 4 came from the backyard. So there's going to be a mix of green twister, a purple echinacea, and I think a red one, if I remember correctly. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted some really beautiful echinacea up there. And then in the lower tier, we really didn't do anything. I left the yarrow, left the onion chives, or garlic chives. I need to remember garlic, onion, okay. And then I did put in some verbena right along, in kind of dividing the beds, which are these purple flowers. Let's see if I can get up there. Those little flowers right there. There were some babies that had seeded themselves around. I just moved them right here. I will let those go to seed and drop all over this area. I really don't mind that they kind of grow all wild all over the herb garden. They're not super invasive. They're just, you know, prolific, and I love them, so I don't mind. And then I moved sage that was up on this upper tier, and we took cuttings and I put a patch of them right there. And there's maybe like 30 or so little cuttings right there. So we'll see how many of them take. And then I left the Roman chamomile, or no, German chamomile right there. That's totally fine. I haven't touched anything down here. And then over in this bed, I removed 5 comfrey out of this space right here. They just came out in chunks. There was only 1, but they've just been clumping out. And then I removed 1 that had self-seeded into this middle bed, and I transplanted it over there. There's 1 over there now, and it does pretty good. So I thought it might be nice to have a second one just kind of over there and see how they do, because maybe next year, if those 2 do really well, I can get rid of this one and have something else in this location. I just always want to have some in my garden, so this one gets to stay for now. I think there might even, is there a baby in here? No. Okay, so just 1. And then that is it for right now. And then I have some more transplanting to do. I'm going to take this borage out of this lavender container and plant it in this tier. I'm going to remove the lemon balm and the marshmallow from that container. I'm going to put the lemon balm in a blue container and put it up here in the herb container garden. And I'm going to move the marshmallow to this lower tier, which means I now have to remove all the sedum from this section. So yeah, plenty to do, but I just want to get these guys watered in, and take a little water break, and then we'll get back at it. All right, I've been out here for 4 hours and I think I'm gonna call it a day. Maybe I'll get motivated later this evening and come back out and do a few more things. I did not get as far as moving things out of pots. So if I don't do that this evening, this will be the end of this video. The only thing that I did after I watered was I pulled the sedum out of just one area of the bottom bed, but not all of it. So I cleared the sedum out of this section, which this will continue to be a walkway right here. And I want to plant marshmallow in this area. There is just no way to get all the sedum out of there. So I'm either going to have to be super diligent about pulling it constantly, or let it be the ground cover underneath the marshmallow. I don't know. And in between the stepping stones, maybe that's what I'll do. The only thing that was left over on this side that I wanted to get done today was to plant my blueberry on the top, and I actually need more soil up there. So I'd love to just maybe get this pot, remove the columbine and get the pot up there, just so I can have the look and feel going on. Also, I have a pile of yarrow up there that I'd like to put in some nursery containers so I could give it away. And then, like I said, I didn't get to this side. I wanted to do the blueberries and transplant the borage. But I'm worn out and I'm done. Just put it right So we had about an hour before it was time to make dinner. And so he helped me move the blueberries, and I got the lemon balm and the marshmallow pulled out of that container and replanted. So let me show you what that looks like, and then we can end the video. So we placed one of our blueberries up in this green container, which it's been in this green container for like 3 years. We do want to plant it in the ground, but we need more soil in that top tier. So I didn't want to plant it and then have to lift it and put new soil in. We'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to take about 4 bags of soil up there. So at least it's in the place where I want it to be. So I'm happy with that. And then I put lemon balm in this second blue container here. I don't use that much lemon balm. I love it fresh, but I don't really like it dried. It doesn't hold its flavor. It kind of tastes like dust once it's dried. So I don't need as much as I have, which is that whole pot is full still of lemon balm. So I think I'll probably just pull that out of there, make a couple extra pots and give it away. And then down here I planted the marshmallow that was in the same pot. So this marshmallow, I did a video on marshmallow recently. I harvested the leaves and flowers, but I want to be able to harvest the roots. So I need a big patch of it so that I could harvest some roots and leave some roots for the plant. Next spring, I'll probably pick up another marshmallow and plant it here so that I can have an even bigger patch. I'm going to pick up a couple more pavers and put them here, so we'll just have a clean walkway. And then over on this side, we planted 2 blueberries. This side of the hill is higher, obviously, than this side, which is why there's a terrace. So you can see the crown of this plant, but you can't see the crown of this plant, but it's really only like 2 inches difference. Both plants were planted a little bit high so that water can drain off of it, but I really love it there with the pineapple sage kind of in the middle-ish. And I feel like they're going to get so much bigger and so many more berries, and they're going to have so much more sun. It's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait. It's going to be a great summer next year. I did not get to transplant my borage yet, and we did not mulch. We did mulch with compost on this top tier for the blueberries, but we have not done it anywhere else. We'll just do that on another project, and we'll share that with you. But yeah, I'm really happy. We got a lot done, and I'm really loving how the medicine garden now feels like it has purpose rather than I find a plant and I plant it in a space. Now I feel like I actually have, this is where this belongs, which just makes it so much better than it ever was. So now I can say goodbye. It was a great day in the garden. I just spent the whole day out here just kind of tinkering around, moving things, cleaning things up, making things even more beautiful. Just I wish I had like maybe 3 more days like this. I am really excited because this project, it was kind of a 2-part project I shared, moving some things and cutting things down a couple weeks ago, and here we are again. But between the 2 times that I spent some extra time in this garden, it spurred a couple of new projects that I want to do, like quick and easy projects. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notified every time I post a new video, which is almost every single day. And you can see what I'm going to get up to next in the garden. I will give you a couple hints. We're going to do a sedum chandelier. We're going to do a tower of onions. And we're going to do a little fun project with hens and chicks. So stay tuned. because they're coming your way pretty soon. Until then, I hope that you're celebrating your life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.